Okay, next question, Doc. So, Doc, I run a test. I run test E and I take 300 milligrams and Deca at 300 milligrams for 12 weeks. I'm assuming per week. Injection of both compound is is every once a week. That's what I wrote. Um, Currently, I'm at week number 10. During week 8, I started to feel my left nipple has a lump thing underneath. I assume it's a gyno, and my body starts to have more water retention, especially around the belly area. After doing some research on the internet, I realized that these symptoms were caused by excessive estrogen in my body. I took Arimidex for 1 milligram for the first day and 0.5 every other day during my week 9 of cycle. Gyno and excessive water retention around the belly area have no longer bothered me. However, I start to notice a few side effects from the Arimidex. My skin gets sensitive, I get red flashes, the hair gets thinner, especially the front hair. It's a pain to see my hair to get thinner. Yeah, join the club. My most concern is is it possible not to take Arimidex to fight excessive estrogen level? Because who doesn't want to look at their best?
Absolutely, right?
Do you recommend anything else safer than Arimidex, Doc? Thank you.
Well, first, I want to make a comment that he's very astute in figuring this out, because I win so far every bet when I see guys come in and tell me that because of their use of decaduroblin, nandrolone, that they have gynecomastia, that it's hyperprolactinemia, too much prolactin from using decaduroblin, which in my experience has been so far just legendary. I think that you have to use quite a lot of decaduroblin to get an elevated prolactin level. So I've made multiple bets with people that it is indeed elevated estrogen, as this fellow found out. Because remember, if you assume that decaduroblin and testosterone are wearing the same pair of tennis shoes and can get to the androgen receptor equally as fast, well, a lot of bodybuilders will assume, well, I've been on a testosterone replacement therapy base for a long time. It's just that it's a baseline. I've got it all figured out. Well, I'm adding something, decaduroblin, which doesn't convert to estrogen, but in fact, a little bit of it does. I think it was Llewellyn who documented that about 20% of decaduroblin can convert, but let's assume it doesn't. Let's assume it doesn't convert. So logically, you go, well, great. I'm adding something that doesn't convert. Why would I even think it's going to be excess estrogen? Well, because they're fighting for the same position on the AR, right? So 50% of the time, your testosterone doesn't have a place to go, right? Mm-hmm. Putting it very simply, but so it can more easily convert. Besides the fact that now you're not working within this titer, you're working within this titer because you've added more testosterone or testosterone-like substance to the picture, and your body overreacts, if you will, when you get outside a certain titer. So yeah, I've said, look, I'll pay for the labs if I'm wrong, and I haven't lost one yet. But this guy figured it out on his own. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And yeah, you found out by using an anastrozole, Arimidex, that it was indeed estrogen because it resolved. So we're assuming, without having tested, that's what's going on clinically. But it sounds to me like, in this case, he might have used too much because you're getting red skin. Yeah. That to me means a hot flash. You've oversuppressed it, and I understand why, because you want to get rid of that. Yeah. And sometimes, although rarely, when you catch it early, the gynecomastia will reverse. More often than not, it'll go away enough so it's not bothersome, it doesn't hurt, and you don't see it cosmetically. But in my experience, if you see something that you feel is the size of a marble, when you extract it, it's probably close to the size of a golf ball. Right. But again, who cares? As long as it, because you shouldn't. It's not necessarily going to mean you're at more risk of cancer or something like that. It's just a matter of, really, is it painful or is it cosmetically undesirable? Then fine, get rid of it. Yeah. But let's see. He said something else though, right? About the anything other than Arimidex. First of all, I would try reducing the dose of Arimidex. And seeing if that's really what's going on here. You might want to test In other words, get some laboratory assays to see, what the right dose is. He doesn't say how much he used, right?
Yeah, I think he went down. He started at 1 per day, 1 milligram, and then he went down to 0.5 every other day.
Oh, well, that doesn't seem crazy, but at the same time, everyone's different.
Right.
He might only need 1 milligram a week. So
right.
That's my best guess is what's going on here. Safer, Arimidex is very safe. Without the side effects, everyone's different. You try, in this country, it'd be definitely more expensive, but Exemestane or Aromacin is the brand name.
He's talking about hair loss and everything. Have you ever heard about that?
Well, I was going to address that. Just one quick thing. Roughly speaking, 1 milligram of anastrozole equates to about the same as 25 milligrams of Aromacin in what I've seen over the years. But they do work a little differently, so it's not exactly a smooth trade like that. Mm-hmm. But maybe he won't have the side effects. But again, my best guess is because he oversuppressed the estrogen. Hair thinning is more than likely nothing to do with estrogen excess or not. Hair thinning is genetically predisposed. Male pattern baldness, meaning that from back here, is typically always both of the type of hair thinning is genetically predisposed, but it can be slowed by diminishing the exposure to dihydrotestosterone, not estrogen, typically. However, if you're suppressing the conversion of testosterone to estrogen, then you could be making it funnel more to dihydrotestosterone. That might be what's going on. Again, I'm reaching here, but it's definitely plausible. Mm-hmm. But I would pursue the dihydrotestosterone excess as a source of exacerbation of male pattern baldness. If it's instead a receding hairline, we call it, where again it's genetically predisposed, to date we find that diminishment of your DHT really doesn't have any effect one way or the other. So it might be a lost cause. I love, there's something called latanoprost, which is what Latisse, which is made by Allergan for eyelashes, was really meant to be originally, but for one reason or another, the deal didn't work out where Allergan got a hold of latanoprost, and instead they used a different prostaglandin. But latanoprost will work on your eyelashes, but also help your hair regrow.
Oh wow!
Way better than minoxidil. Did I say that
minoxidil,
right? Yeah. I didn't want to say the brand name just so we don't get in trouble. But minoxidil will make for peach fuzz if you're lucky, and it'll fall off as soon as you stop using it. Latanoprost will actually sprout a lot of customers' hair, male or female, on the head. We use it in a foam. Combine a 0.01% latanoprost with 0.01% finasteride. So you're using the 5-alpha reductase inhibitor topically, and I've seen great results from that too. Wow. So for keeping the hair on your head, that's a good one. In this country, we have to have it compounded, so it's not something you can walk into your local Walmart or drugstore and just pick it up. Glad to see that the water retention went away and the gynecomastia went away. One other thought is typically, as soon as I see any gynecomastia rear its ugly head, get on a blocker like tamoxifen, Nolvadex, and then convert to, or concurrently, use something that blocks the conversion from testosterone to estrogen. Use something to block the receptor right away so you can nip it in the bud, no pun intended. Yeah. But because otherwise you're going to be looking at a surgery. Yeah. It's very hard to reverse breast tissue growth. Yeah.
Hopefully you pay for that over there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Doc.